How did the painting like come around? You know, because people talk about bands today who use all the makeup and paint. You were doing that ages ago, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. In fact, it came about when, because Carl Wayne was originally the lead singer in the Move, and when he left, all the fingers pointed to me, you see, to sort of become the sort of lead person.
Why did he leave? I can't remember.
He went into cabaret. He wanted to do that, you know.
And get involved in Crossroads.
Yeah, and Tom Jones and all that.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'd never actually been a lead singer before. I was always the guitarist and the vocal backingist. And I thought, in fact, we had a show come up which was on BBC Two that was the predecessor to the Whistle Test. And I'd had a coat made for it, which was like a bit like it was like sort of triangle type thing, like a long jacket. And everybody else had gone off to the bar. It's usually me that's in the bar first, of course, but everybody else had gone off to the bar. And I sort of looked at myself in the dressing room mirror, and I thought, well, there's something missing, and the jacket looks all right. And I managed to nick some makeup from the makeup department, and I made my face up the same as the jacket in triangles, and that's how it all started.
Is that where Wizard came from?
Yeah.
And that's where you took the name from? Or did you have the name before then?
In fact, the name Wizard wasn't anything to do with the makeup at all.
Just testing you. What about the Barnet? When did that all start?
I don't know, actually. You mean the colour or the length of it?
Yeah, well, not so much the length, but the colouring.
Well, let's have a think about this. Oh, yes. We were in the early days of Wizard, we were in an Indian restaurant. And in fact, I had one last night, excuse the breath.
That's all right. Wasn't the breath I was worried about.
In fact, you should all come up to Wolverhampton for a curry. They can't make them down there. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the last curry I had in Wolverhampton, I left my car and drove myself home. Back to the hair.
Back to the hair.
Indian restaurant.
In an Indian restaurant, and I went in. I was with his tart, in fact, at the time, and there were some people on the next table, and there was a tart on the next table who was being quite sort of obnoxious and shouting at me and using foul words and stuff.
She was sort of asking you to leave, but sort of naughty
politely, yeah.
Yes.
And I sort of stood up and sort of told her to sort of politely sort of calm down a bit, and she jumped on me and and held me hair and dragged me all around the restaurant by my hair, and I couldn't really do much about it because there was this bloke holding my arms up my back, so consequently my hair got tied in a big knot.
Why did they start doing this, just out of interest? I mean, had they been to the gig or what? I mean,
no, what their own back.
Why did they start doing it? Seriously, you don't know. Just
no, I don't know. They were just nutters, you know.
Okay, I'm still dying to know how the hair came the colour.
Yeah,
so she's dragging you around, yeah.
Dragging me around, yeah. And my hair got tied in a knot on the top, and so I couldn't get the knot out. We had to cut my hair all sort of silly. It's pretty silly anyway. It ended up a bit like a carrot, so I went round to this hairdresser's and had the top done green, you know, so it looked like a proper carrot job. And it sort of went on from there.
When you walked out of there the first time when it was green?
I was trying not to look at my reflection in shop windows. I was embarrassed at myself. Yeah. Well, still am.
And Wizard, you put Wizard together in the band. In fact, you were involved very heavily at first with Regal Zonophone, weren't you?
Yes, in the Move.
Which, for the uninitiated, Regal Zonophone was most probably the cult label of the time, going back late 60s and early 70s, formed by Denny Caldell, who put together such bands as The Move, Procol Harum, Joe Cocker, and in fact that was all financed by the Joy Strings. I don't know whether you knew that.
Really?
The Joy Strings financed that first thing. But The Move were most probably the biggest thing.
I'm glad I got up today now. I learned something else.
Yeah, well, we are taking over from Songs of Praise. Do you regret those days? Do you enjoy those days, or would you like to see them back?
Well, I enjoyed the days at the time, but obviously when you're sort of inexperienced and sort of green, in fact, you tend to sort of sign your life away. Yeah. You sign your life away, and you're still sort of regretting it 67 years later, you know.
You suffered the same as really everybody did in the late 70s through, I suppose for want of a better word, bad deals or awkward deals. When I got lumbered, so did a lot of other people, which puts you out of action for 2 or 3 years while you're trying to put everything back together again.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Now that you are back and you're motoring, what are your plans for the remainder of the 80s?
Well, I've got a new band together called Helicopters, which I'd like to actually take to America and do some stuff over there, which I sort of suddenly neglected in my career, really. You know, the American thing was...
It's very big. It's huge over there for you. What about with the band? I mean, have you recorded any stuff?
No, in fact, what I do is for the recording thing, I play all the instruments myself on my record, you know, and the band just do a sort of live version of that.
Well, I sincerely hope it works very well for you, because I mean, as far as I'm concerned, people like you are relatively important and a breath of fresh air in the business.
Oh,
we hope
nice.
very much towards the end of the year, you know, if we can get a second series of GasTank together, we're going to do a road show. It'd be smashing if you and the Helicopters could come along.
I'd love to, yeah.
And if you just sign here on this piece of paper, this gives you a life. Roy Wood, thank you very much.
Yeah, cheers, Rick.
Please subscribe and see some of the silly things I get up to, and the musical stuff as well.